Welcome back, and the war of words continues over the NDA's vice president nominee. Now, BJP has countered the candidate Cong hai jibe. Now, remember, this is something that was taken to Twitter by Congress leader Jairam Ramesh, to which now Amit Malviya has responded. A strong rebuttal coming in from the BJP. Amit Malviya says, and I quote, Jairam Ramesh, new kid on the block who infamously, in fact, went ahead and tweeted on candidate Cong hai. Now, remember, this is a tweet that was initially put out by Jairam Ramesh, who in fact tweeted the video of Jagdeep Dhankar while filing his nomination as the NDA candidate for the vice president's post, while filing his nomination for the VP elections in presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. That's a video that Congress leader Jairam Ramesh had tweeted, to which now the BJP has essentially come out with a response.
Right, let's read out what Amit Malviya has responded. Candidate Cong hai, Jairam Ramesh, new kid on the block who infamously described Sonia Gandhi as Rabri Devi in his enthusiasm to make his presence felt, will end up damaging the Congress more than Surjewala ever did. Samia joins us live with more details. Samia, now response coming in from the BJP. This was after the Congress party took a dig while Prime Minister Modi was with Dhankar. In fact, before we come to you, we have Mr. Amit Malviya himself joining us over the phone line. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Malviya. You've responded to the statement that had come in from Jairam Ramesh, which was clearly taking a dig at Mr. Dhankar. All right, we'll go back to Amit Malviya on that. Samia is also with us. Samia, so, even as the nomination filing continues, we're seeing a war of words play out.
Well, absolutely. And this is a bitter war of words, for that matter, between the top leaders of the Congress and the BJP, because Jairam Ramesh had tweeted a picture where it was shown that as far as the nomination papers are concerned, it was being handed to the Prime Minister and not directly to Jagdeep Dhankar, to which he tweeted and said, who exactly is the candidate?
I'll come back to you in just a moment. Let me go across to Siddharth. He has the tweet with him. Will take us through the tweet in detail. Siddharth.
Right, Prithveen. So this is the response that's come in from the BJP to the jibe that Jairam Ramesh had levelled at both the Prime Minister as well as the Vice Presidential candidate for the NDA, Mr. Jagdeep Dhankar. Now, as a retort, Amit Malviya, the head of the BJP IT cell, has put out this tweet. He said, candidate Cong hai, Jairam Ramesh, new kid on the block who infamously described Sonia Gandhi as a Rabri Devi in his enthusiasm to make his presence felt, will end up damaging the Congress more than Surjewala ever did. And he's put out a photograph of Hamid Ansari, the vice president during the UPA tenure, filing his nomination papers. And to just jog the memory of our viewers, this is in fact a photograph from the 23rd of July 2007, almost 15 years to this date, where Hamid Ansari, who was the UPA's vice presidential candidate, was then accompanied by the UPA chairperson at the time, Sonia Gandhi. He was also accompanied, as you can see in the frame, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. There was also CPIM Sitaram Yechuri present at that particular gathering. CPI National General Secretary at the time, D. Raja, several union ministers, also the NCP Sharad Pawar, the RJD's Lalu Prasad Yadav, Ram Vilas Paswan, as well as T.R. Balu. All of these had then accompanied the then vice presidential candidate of the UPA, Mr. Hamid Ansari, along with Rahul Gandhi as well, as you can see in the frame. And this is, of course, something that happened 15 years ago. So if the Congress party is now claiming and questioning the presence of the Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, along with Jagdeep Dhankar, why was this
Siddharth, stay on with us. Let's quickly go across to Shehzad Poonawalla of the BJP to understand what the BJP is making of this development. Jairam Ramesh taking to Twitter to once again take a sly jibe at the nomination filing of Jagdeep Dhankar, to which now Amit Malviya has responded. Shehzad.
You know, you can go and check the Twitter timeline of Amit Malviya and mine, and we put out a picture in which Sonia Gandhi is handing over the nomination papers of Hamid Ansari, their favorite vice president candidate. So we would like to ask Jairam Ramesh, candidate Cong hai? You see, the problem is that those who indulge in just Gandhi Vajra Putra Vandan can't see a Kisan Putra. They will always try to attempt to insult Kisan Putras like Jagdeep Dhankar, who has risen from the top, challenging socio-economic circumstances has risen to the top, has become a constitutional expert, a legal expert, defended the constitution in Bengal, and Jairam Ramesh, perhaps to score a point of view in his new capacity as the media head of the Congress party, every day either they make issues out of national emblem or about a word ban list that doesn't exist, or is the dharna ban that doesn't exist, and now it is this candidate Cong hai. Well, we would like to also ask him, using this picture that you can see, candidate Cong hai? Was Sonia Gandhi the candidate?
The Congress is so irked with this particular choice of the NDA of choosing Mr. Dhankar as the vice president candidate.
You see, Congress party has a natural predisposition which is against scheduled tribes, scheduled castes, OBCs, and those who are from the communities that have been, in a sense, not given their due for so many years and decades. And therefore, an OBC Prime Minister like Modi is constantly abused. Draupadi Murmu ji is constantly insulted and abused. You saw Ajoy Kumar call her evil. And now they are doing the same thing about Jagdeep Dhankar. He's a son of the soil. He's a son of a farmer, and therefore they can't stand it. They can only stand son of Nehru, son of Indira Gandhi. They can only stand son of Sonia Gandhi, and therefore they can't stand the son of a farmer, and therefore they are trying to mock his candidacy. But I would like to ask Mr. Jairam.
What you are saying that there is essentially a pattern between it. First they had gone after Murmu and now they are going after Dhankar. Thank you so much, Azad, for joining us. There you have it, the BJP scathing criticism, saying there's a pattern behind the criticism of the Congress party that they are running out of both relevant